All right, so when I was first coming up and picking up a MacBook, I didn't want to spend the upgrade to get an extra terabyte or even get an extra 2 terabytes included with the storage. Now, that's kind of biting me a little bit in the butt. However, there is a way to remedy that though. I'm sure Apple doesn't want you to know, and neither does Tim Cook, right? Because they obviously love money at the end of the day. And a little bit, who doesn't, right? But with that being said, my cheap butt decided to forego that and not give Apple the money directly, and kind of sucks. But so I went out to Amazon and picked up this little guy though to help remedy that case. This is a ASICS external NVMe enclosure. So it comes with a cord that you just plug in here, and then this plugs into your MacBook at the end of the day, and it's basically a DIY external hard drive. As you can see in here, I've got a 2 terabyte enclosure here. All right, so you can put whatever you want here. You can put 1 terabyte, you can put 4 terabytes. I believe this thing's only rated for up to 4 terabytes maximum. So there are other options you can do. You can even do 512, whatever, however much storage you want to put into this. It's whatever you want to pay for essentially. So with my current configuration, this Rocket Q4 2 terabyte SSD comes out, and the enclosure comes out to roughly around $200 or so. I'll drop all the links down below where you can pick this up. Wait a minute, math don't make sense. $170 for the NVMe SSD. The enclosure is $90. Coupon minus 15. Total is actually $245. All right, math ain't that easy. All right, back to the video then. Obviously, you can choose whatever gen drives you want. Speaking of gens, this is a Gen 4 drive. I went with Gen 4 because I wanted more speed, essentially because I like to video edit off of this thing, and that's actually really cool, being able to video edit off this directly. Quick note aside though, Gen 3 versus Gen 4. When you're trying to save some extra money, you can go with the Gen 4 versus Gen 3. Gen 3 being the cheaper option, it's just an older generation. Data transfer speeds is what it comes down to. So you can save some extra money by doing a Gen 3 enclosure with a Gen 3 drive. Whereas in my case, if you're like doing editing directly off of this thing and you're transferring a lot of files every time, I would definitely go with a Gen 4 enclosure. Now, if you don't want to do that, there are other options too, right? You could even technically stick in, little SD into the side and utilize that. Super cheap option, right? But I wouldn't try to utilize this, as the speeds on this aren't going to be that great either. Or obviously we all know the external hard drives, and these are already kind of like pre-built, right? You could pick this up off of Best Buy, Amazon, just plug this in directly, kind of same idea. But here with my guy, you can update, upgrade, whatever size drive you want. And alternatively, if you're like me who builds PCs, right, there's these little like SATA to SSD adapters, and technically you could just plug these two in and it would work the same. All right, so a couple of different options, but I think for me, we're talking about this guy, this DIY enclosure. Obviously speeds will vary. Speaking of which, let's go to a little speed test. Initialize the Sabrent Rocket drive now. We'll do that real quick. Done. We'll look for that drive now. Sabrent Rocket Q4. Just so everybody knows. All right, Sabrent. Come on, get into focus, my man. There we go. Sabrent Rocket Q4 2 terabyte drive. This is the PCIe 4.0 drive, and we'll see how this guy runs too. Oh, I could hear that thing. 2700 basically, read and write. Okay, so now honestly, how does this all compare against the actual SSD on the machine itself? We'll do that next. This is what it is off of the SSD itself of the internal device. All right, so clearly this guy is not as fast as the SSD on the device, right? Obviously, I kind of knew that in my mind already going into this, but for the cost to value ratio, I think this is a super great value option if you didn't give your money directly to Apple at the start when you first picked up your MacBook. So if you're trying to look to upgrade, this is a great little guy, and you could save some extra money by doing a Gen 3 drive, like I said earlier. So it's pretty simple, right? As you can see, you just kind of plop this guy open, and then you just plug in your SSD, and that's it. And then it's toolless, right? I could just remove the little thumb screw here, right? As you can see, I just remove the little thumb screw here, and then it just plops right out, and it goes right back in. And that's it. No tools required. It's great because you could just plug in whatever drive you want. You could do 1 terabyte, 2 terabytes, 4 terabytes, however much you want to purchase and put into this guy. Besides it being a great device, there are a couple of drawbacks to this. Now, I don't think they're actually that major, but the first one being is you have to bring this with you everywhere. So it kind of sucks because you need to have this device either attached to you or attached to the drive. Put this in your backpack. Don't forget it if you're on about, right? Like you're trying to edit videos on the go or write photos on the fly and they're on here, you're kind of screwed. But there are ways of remedying that. You could like put stickers, double-sided tape to this and put it onto your MacBook. Now, I wouldn't recommend that as it's going to put additional stress on the hinges on the MacBook, and they don't look that great, personally speaking. It just kind of ruins a little bit of the vibe or aesthetics of the device itself. Granted, this metal does match the same color if you want, or at least same feel and look in terms of like premiumness to the device, so it's kind of nice in that sense. And then beyond that, there's kind of like small nitpicks here and there. This device does get really hot when you do utilize it, so don't touch it right away when you are using it, especially if you transfer a lot of files or editing videos directly off the machine, off the device, I mean. So keep that in mind. 40 gigabytes per second. Nifty little guy. Definitely very handy in my daily use case, especially when I video edit on this device, I guess. Thank you for making it to the very end of this video. Really appreciate it. Let me know down in the comments below if you're looking to upgrade your SSD or if you've even had any regrets buying a smaller hard drive and, you know, save some money doing it this way. But you know what is free and it doesn't cost you any money? All right. Thanks for checking out the video. Really appreciate it. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.